Hello again. Yes, it's another UAsk IAnswer video. I'm getting back into the swing of these, I think. So what is it this week? It's a question that was actually taken from the question and answer session after my PMI Philippines gig a few weeks ago. And Edward De La Fuente, who is a senior manager for project development working for the SN Aboitiz Power Group, I think I got that right, in the Philippines. And Edward asked a very simple question. What is the difference between change management and stakeholder management? So I think I'll try and give a straightforward, simple answer, shall I? Now, if I remember correctly, if my memory serves me well, I think the question was asked because someone during the session implied that change management was the same as stakeholder management and the fact that project managers already did that, but more about that later. So here we go again. Previously, I've shied away from answering the question about what is change management because I've always argued there's so many definitions out there. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to tell you what I think it is from my perspective, if you don't mind. The change manager is the poor soul that has to deal with all of the impacts on people related to whatever the project manager is delivering into the business, be it new processes, new products, organizational restructuring, new technology, and so on. They have to deal with all of the communications, change resistance, culture, process and organizational change, training, business readiness, adoption and uses measurement, and anything else the sponsor or steering board decide they want to throw at them. Because of the question, the one thing I didn't mention just a minute ago is stakeholder analysis and management. But from my perspective, that also is the responsibility of the change manager. Let me try and explain. Right, first of all, let me split the analysis bit from the management bit. Stakeholder analysis is the technique used to identify people who have to be engaged to build the support that drives project success. Stakeholder management, on the other hand, is an important discipline to win support from key stakeholders as it helps ensure that a project succeeds where others have failed. Now, my practical framework approach to change has 3 foundations and 6 building blocks. The foundations are sponsorship engagement, communication, and stakeholder analysis and management. So this is actually part of my change approach, and I think it's embedded also in many other models and methodologies, such as Kotter's and ProSize, and yes, of course, mine. My approach to stakeholders has 4 key steps. What are they, I hear you asking? All right, let me go through them. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a dry mouth. Anyway, I'll go on. Step number 1, identify all key stakeholders impacted by the project, or as many as possible, through either internal knowledge from members of the project team, as an example, systems users through access to user profile lists, or from HR business services through the provision of centralized people data. Step 2, map your stakeholders into stakeholder groups. For example, process groups, functional groups, departmental groups, and so on, whatever suits you and the project. Step 3, engage with your stakeholders to understand their level and type of interest, their level of influence, reasons for supporting or resisting the change initiative, and determining communication mechanisms to win their support. And finally, step 4, plan your stakeholder communication based on the outcomes of step 3. Just going back to the issue of project managers doing stakeholder management, I thought I would do my usual quick and dirty research on Google. And indeed, I found many articles related to the fact that project managers should also be doing stakeholder management. Additionally, I also found that this subject is included in the 2021 PM exam content, which is split into people, process, and business environment domains. As an example, in the people section, it says collaborate with stakeholders, evaluate engagement needs for stakeholders, optimize alignment between stakeholder needs, expectations and project objectives, and build trust and influence stakeholders to accomplish project objectives. This is followed by mentor relevant stakeholders, allocate the time to mentoring, recognize and act on mentoring opportunities. Sounds kind of good to me, sounds same. In the process section of that document, it says engage stakeholders, analyze stakeholders, as an example, power, interest, grid, influence, impact, categorize stakeholders, like I mentioned before, engage stakeholders by category, develop, execute and validate a strategy for stakeholder engagement. So I kind of guess that there is an element of duplication in this activity between what project managers and change managers should be doing, or my view of what change managers should be doing. What do you think? But what I'm kind of thinking is, what level do project managers go down to when they're managing stakeholders, remembering all the other stuff that PMs have to do? Is it just, for example, key stakeholders that they deal with, or do they deal with all of the impacted business community? Now, I can see them doing number one, and to an extent number two, if the project doesn't have a big impact on the business. If it does, I can't see that they would have either the capacity or even the capability to do this to the level and the depth it needs to be done at. So there we have it. Just my thoughts, really. I would be happy, obviously, to hear your thoughts from both the change management community and the project management community on this. Thank you again for listening to my rambling. Bye.